We all know that Singapore's greatest resource is our manpower.
Sure.
And we need to constantly upskill. We need to make sure our manpower is relevant, especially on the global scale. But what if it's someone like me, say I don't know what to do?
There are learners who come and see us who want to fulfill some of their passions, their hobbies. Our advisory is targeted. What do you want to do actually by taking this baking course? What is the outcome that you're looking at? I like to look at it from the perspective of Simon Sinek's golden circle. But the inner core is the why. The what and the how, it's easy to fall into place. But why? So we get to the core of why someone wants to take a baking course.
Doctor, you mentioned skill set, but what about, in a sense, mindset? Because when we talk about this whole culture of self-improvement, it's not something new.
The third apex is actually mindset. When I speak of mindset, it's actually all about career fitness or career health. Like if you go to the gym, right? You don't expect a six-pack overnight. Right? So it's all about changing their mindset that it's career fitness. So your career health, I'm actually trying to prevent a major illness or major catastrophe.
Right.
I could be taking short courses. I could be even taking a long course even while I'm still employed. The beauty of SkillsFuture is you don't have to give up your job to go for training.
So talking about upskilling, we have a guest here today.
Yes.
Mr. Ramesh. And where is Mr. Ramesh from?
Dr. Ramesh.
Oh, Dr. Ramesh. Sorry.
He's a skills ambassador with 10 years experience who is from not LLI anymore. It's now called Lifelong Learning Singapore.
That's right.
But he's representing the SkillsFuture program. Yes.
Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you, Raman, Zah, and Darren.
Yes.
For having me here. It's I think it's going to be a tremendous learning experience for me also. So truly excited to be here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
When we talk about let's just jump right into the topic lah.
Sure.
Talk about SkillsFuture and all that, right? Whenever we float the idea to our listeners, for example, I don't know what's the sentiment out there. People will say, how long is the course? What job opportunities will I get right after that?
I mean, generally, that's where probably I would like to start by kind of defining what's my role as a skills ambassador. So clients who come and see me, generally, they want to upskill. They want to do something with their lives. They want to improve their lives, but they are unsure what to do. Who do I go to, and where do I start? So that's why I come in. I give a very personalized one-to-one consultation with my clients. So when I say personalized, so it can be customized because everyone that comes and sees us is different. Right? They may be at their different stage of their careers, different stages of their life. So firstly, I try and understand first and foremost, where are they now?
Okay.
Right? And then I try and help them identify where they want to go.
Right.
Right? And the last step will be how they can get there. And come up with a co-create an action plan that is executable. And I think when a client leaves my session, I want him or her to leave with two things: clarity and confidence.
Right.
Nice.
Right? That's I would think the most two things that are lacking when they come and see us.
So is it commonplace nowadays for people to visit like ambassadors like yourself and then to go through a session just to talk through what are relevant courses, what can be done next, or like that process that you just said, identifying where they are and how? Is it common for people to do that?
Or is it conversely like actually quite still a bit rare to see? Because I do remember over the past few years, government has been pushing very hard, right? Like they want more people to do this because they know that the economy is shifting very quickly. You can't stay with the same skill set. But then it always feels like people don't really want to take it up. Is that what you see?
I totally agree with you. I think all depends also on our outreach, publicity, that you have someone to turn to. Sometimes when they are lost, they are confused, and they just decide not to do anything because there's no resource available to them. So that's where we are increasing our outreach efforts with events. We have satellite centers where we are based. We also give them various options. They can also do, if they are comfortable with a one-to-one, they can come and see us. But some of them don't like due to shy or confidentiality, they prefer virtual calls. We also do that. They can also just book a virtual call with us. And
so like Zoom online.
Yes. So we'll usually use Zoom to do an audio call first. If someone prefers a video call, we'll also do that. So that session, as I said, publicity, our numbers are increasing. Very much so. or through media efforts to also word of mouth referrals. I think that's a critical success factor for us.
Yep.
Clients who have come to us, seen us, and went back with some step forward. I think that helps a lot also. So we do get a lot of referrals coming back to us.
What's the current like scene of job recruitment like? Like for example, maybe years back during our boomer times.
What is it?
Cert is very important.
You're boomer, you're like late millennial, right?
Yeah. I mean, certification is important. That's
true,
what
true.
our parents tell us.
Back then,
In a sense, that's what I tell my kids as well.
Okay.
But I see requirements have changed.
Yeah, it's
today's age,
of limited help nowadays. Right?
Even when we hire people, we see what kind of skills they have, and then how they do certain certain sample work, and then the quality of work.
Yeah.
Is that the situation right now?
Well, that's where you see the whole HR or landscape is evolving. Now it's no longer about HR. It's human capital.
Okay.
Right? Because that's for any organization. Actually, that's their biggest investment, human capital. And if you look at previously, HR was just personnel, payroll, and so on. But now the whole earlier HR executives or management did not have a seat in the corporate boardroom. But now you have a HR sitting in the corporate boardroom because now it's all about being strategic. Organizations need to first of all recruit the right talent. So they need to have a good talent acquisition strategy. Having brought in talent, then they need to retain them. Right. So how can we retain them? Through in-house sponsored training, upskilling. Upskilling doesn't mean that you need to leave the job. Right? Upskilling you are also in a good stable career, but you need to know what level can I progress in my current career. So that's where HR needs to again come in.
Oh, that's
right. So how can I retrain talent so that they stay with us? You know, there's this very famous Richard Branson quote, who is on a Virgin. He says, you basically train your staff so well that they are good enough to leave you, but you treat them so well that they don't want to.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I have a question when you say this, because when you said this, it just reminded me, because I've seen like Raman's firm also sometimes you do this, but like as in you have your own in-house training or whatever for your own staff. But like, so who really is responsible for this? Should the employers, for example, be the one to get their own teams to be upskilled, or is it the individual who should be feeling like, oh, actually I should go and upskill on my own? Like, based on your experience, what do you see?
It has to be a partnership, right? The individual has to understand that jobs are evolving. The economy, we live in this VUCA world, they call it. No, it's very volatile. It's very uncertain. It's very complex. It's very ambiguous. So we need to be mindful that the biggest risk is actually not doing anything at all, standing still. So there's this very nice Confucius or Chinese saying, I'm not sure it's attributed to Confucius, but it says, don't be afraid of moving slowly. Be afraid of standing still.
Oof. That's
right?
true, man. Yeah.
Right?
Sounds like a Confucian saying.
Yeah, I think probably attributed to Confucius. So it has to be a partnership, right? I may want to upskill myself. I may want to know what's the next level that can I go to. I'm okay. I'm in digital marketing. What else can I do? But I need my HR to buy into what career goals I have in mind. What do I aspire to? So it has to be a partnership. So that's where right now, even Skills Future Singapore is also trying to align their causes to get training providers to also liaise with employers and industry partners. What exactly are the skill sets they need?
Yep.
Right, so that when courses are curated, all right, they are aligned and to make the person who undergoes training more relevant and ultimately more employable. Right, so it has to be a partnership. If I am having a performance appraisal with my boss, and it should not be just lip service that, okay, what are your career goals? What are your plans for next year? My HR has to support my plans for next year. And how can that happen? Can you sponsor me for a Skills Future applicable course.
Right.
If it's not within, some SMEs don't have the budget. It's a reality on the ground.
Yep.
So then we need to say, okay, it's all right. I will self-sponsor myself, but then you maybe provide me some time off, flexibility of adjusting my work schedules. I want to upgrade myself. At the end of the day, the skill that I learn, I'm going to take up a course in data analytics, is going to help me improve processes in our organization. I need this support from you. And that's where I think I call it a partnership.
Yeah. What you're saying, right? Yeah. We all know that Singapore's greatest resource is our manpower.
Sure.
And we need to constantly upskill. We need to make sure our manpower is relevant, especially on the global scale.
Sure.
So, from a HR perspective, just like what you said, it's good if the HR helps and then they upskill, they become more able to contribute in the workplace. But what if it's someone like me, say I don't know what to do, then me and my wife end up taking things like baking. And we use our SSG funds for like what seems to be silly things. How does that achieve the bigger goal of improving the workforce?
Taking a baking course may not be silly because my wife took a baking course. So I convinced her that, my wife is a master chef in the kitchen.
Wow.
But for me to tell her that you're going to take a baking course is like, it's adding insult to injury. Yeah. But I kind of told her that, kids love your pastry, the cakes that you make. But we would love sometimes to have a cheesecake. Right? So convince her to take a 3 days cheese making course. Actually enjoyed it that she actually went on to take a pasta making course. All right. So there are learners who come and see us who want to fulfill some of their passions, their hobbies. All right. So our advisory is targeted. So what do you want to do actually by taking this baking course? What is the outcome that you're looking at? So I like to look at it from the perspective of Simon Sinek's golden circle. There are 3 circles, but the inner core is the why. The what and the how, it's easy to fall into place. There's a baking course. This is a funding you get. This is your skills future credits, and these are the training providers. But why? So we get to the core of why someone wants to take a baking course. Right? So the motivation can be, I had a learner who had baking skills, right? Was in the accounting profession about 10, 15 years, but felt that her passion lies in baking and pastry, but didn't have the confidence to actually start a bakery business. Right? So one step could be to first explore the waters. So that's where I actually use a 4-stage cycle of advisory. So firstly, discover yourself. Right? What are your strengths? How's your personality like? Right? What interests you? What excites you? And then we go to the next step of what's out there. All right. If you feel that, yes, I am in baking pastry, but I am at level 1 and I want to join the F&B industry, then I would probably look at there are other options available for you rather than a 3 days short course. Let's look at maybe a 3 months or 6 months duration course that also gives you a certification that is recognized by the F&B industry.
So I want to touch on the issue of discovering waters. I've been to the site. I've seen certain courses there. And for example, like especially I'm thinking, what are the credibility of these trainers? So sometimes trainers, they oversell the outcomes. So there's a content creator course I saw, and I was like thinking 1,003 for this. And then what are the outcomes? I was thinking, if I really do spend my credits on this, am I able to properly, get maximum ROI from this? Are they teaching something that I already know? So we don't really know. So I want to ask, like, what's the structure of like sieving trainers who are available, and how credible are they?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question, because that's where I think our QA system comes into place. So Skills Future Singapore has basically a level of I would call it, maybe if we look at it from a triangle perspective, one, we have the structure. So the structure in place is that not every training provider can be approved as a registered training provider. All right. So they need to meet certain criteria in terms of infrastructure, credibility of trainers, how are they going to deliver the program, what sort of admin and processes they have in place. So for them to firstly be approved. All right. And then comes the part about assurance.
Okay.
So how can we assure that the courses, the training that they deliver is credible and relevant and useful in the sense that it is something that is not dubious in the sense, right? So that's where we have we call it a TPQA framework. So that framework deep dives a little bit into three sectors. One is corporate governance. That means admin and corporate governance. How does a training provider has a corporate governance system in place? Right admin, right processes. Process. Right. Then the second aspect will be on course quality.
Okay.
Correct. How are the courses curated? What are the learning outcomes? How are they assessed? Right. In terms of, is it a written assessment? If it's baking, then you have to have certain competency to pass the assessment. So how is the course quality? And lastly will be learners' outcome. So when they conduct courses, we have what is known as a TRICOM quality rating, just like it's from 1 star to 5 star. And this is based on actual learner feedback.
Right.
So at the end of the course, all learners fill in a feedback where they and then they come up with this rating quality. So if I want to pick and choose a course, I'm also able to see the TRICOM quality based on actual learner feedback. So these three, sorry to interrupt.
So this is kind of, it's not like MOE, right? Because MOE say all school, good school. But over here, there are good quality providers, and there are some that, maybe based on feedback, not so good.
Yes.
And you need to be aware.
Yeah, that's a reality. So we have grades, and we QA them or certify them. It's an ongoing process. So it's not a one-time you come in as a registered training provider and you're done. So it's an ongoing process. We firstly, they are registered and then they need to deliver the courses. And then we do QA checks. We do also course quality checks, and then learner outcomes. And so it's a continuous cycle. Yeah. So in fact, I think this recently the SkillsFuture announced that they are going to actually impose more stringent quality requirements, especially for courses that are related to employability and industry needs. Because we don't want trainers or graduates going into the industry and not really being fit, having the right skill set. So having the right skill sets is one thing. I think the biggest issue is how can they apply the skill sets, right? And that's where it becomes a competency. Right? I can take an accounting course, but if I'm not able to generate a P&L statement, then I'm not competent. Right? So,
Doctor, you mentioned skill set, but what about, in a sense, mindset? Because when we talk about this whole culture of self-improvement, it's not something new. In fact, during my time, as a national broadcaster, my employers would like, hey, go for this course, go for that course. And even right now, we have writers, reporters. Initially, they started off with writing, and then now we tell them you need to be able to video edit, you need to be able to use Canva, whatever it is. These are skills. And then right after that, now we are in the age of AI. So like it's very, there's this fatigue of self. Every time we improve ourselves, we lose out to something.
You can never catch up.
It's hard to catch up. We're always playing catching up. Do you feel that's the situation?
So Zhao, you actually preempted me because I spoke of the triangle. So I spoke of the first apex, the second apex, but the third apex is actually mindset.
Okay.
Right. So that's where I can have the excellent structure and assurance system in place. But if I don't have your right mindset, and when I speak of mindset, it's actually all about career fitness or career health. So I like to reframe it from the perspective of, like, if you go to the gym, right, you don't expect a six-pack overnight. Right? So you need
4 years in the making.
I'm going to come for a personal consultation. So it's all about changing their mindset that it's career fitness. So your career health, when we do preventive healthcare, right? I'm actually trying to prevent a major illness or major catastrophe. Right. So it's all about, I could be taking short courses. I could be even taking a long course, even while I'm still employed. So that's where I think the beauty of Skills Future is that that's where when we do explore, you don't have to give up your job to go for training.
Right.
You can also take a part-time course that works while you're still in the job.
Tiring.
Yeah, of course. I mean, challenges will always be there.
No. Okay, so I say this for a fact, right?
Sure.
As experience, like I see people my age, you know, a bit younger, maybe 20s to I'm 31 this year. So those slightly younger than me in their mid 20s, late 20s, they have that energy to maybe take part-time courses while working. Maybe my age still. But once you hit, like 35, 40, you have family responsibilities.
Yes.
You've got other things in life weighing you down. How on earth are you going to juggle,
You must
4,000 things at the same time?
Force yourself.
Sure. Yeah, that's where, again, that mindset plays a very important role. All right. If I'm in my, when I'm young, early careers, they have that energy. But let's say I'm in my mid 40s, late 40s. All right. Now, you may have heard of this boiling frog syndrome. I spoke of this in one of my podcasts. So I mean, if you put a frog in boiling water, it jumps out because his nose is boiling. But if you put him in water at room temperature and you slowly heat it up, he feels very comfortable. I'm fine, right? But the moment he realizes that it's too hot for me and I want to jump, then it becomes turtle soup. Or frog soup. Sorry, frog soup. Okay, I was thinking of turtle. Yeah, frog soup. Right. So the idea is to get them to think about this. All right. I may be in a very stable career right now. My company is doing very well. But then I need to look at how the industry is evolving. Right. So that's where when we do advisory, we open up resources to them. We have what is known as which has been published annually for the past 3 or 4 years, which is the skills demand for the future economy. So we have a 2025 version. So I basically go through with them, okay, this is a digital economy. What's happening in the digital economy? We are looking at AI. We are looking at cyber security. We are looking at hardware technology and so on. Next will be what's going on in the care economy. So care, which includes definitely healthcare, which is something always at the
huge demand.
With our aging population and so on. Hospitality, tourism, logistics all come under care. What is new, relatively new, is the green economy, which is all about. And many of them come, actually they don't have this clarity of what's the green economy, or it's not all about farming.
It sounds like
right. Yeah, so I had a facilities manager who, felt stuck in his career. 15 years or condo manager, So I went through with him that, actually in the green economy, right now, there is what is known as smart infrastructure. So a lot of smart buildings coming up using Internet of Things and so on. Let's look at this career transition program in facilities management under sustainability. Right. So you have the skill sets, you have transferable skills, but what skills that you need right now to future-proof yourself, right? I'm in logistics, but right now my organization starts to build a smart building and I'm totally out of the picture, right? So getting that mindset in that to prepare to be more career resilient.
Okay, so doctor, how earlier you were saying something about how some people are not very sure, right? Like only when they come in, then they know.
Sure.
There's all these other options that they didn't even think about before.
Sure.
So some personalities, they're just like that. They don't really want to try new things.
Sure.
How do you know what kind of personality is best suited for what kind of extra training?
Sure. Yeah. That's a very interesting concept you have touched. Coming to that clarity, of sometimes they go with the trend. No, it's a very trend about AI courses, data analytics, F&B. These are trendy courses that I can take. But does it actually suit my personality? Yeah, social service is the in thing. Early childhood education, big demand. But do I have, first of all, an interest in this area? What are my strengths? All right. And more importantly, what are my career values? So we have to support this and to empower them, we have this actually free tool that is available on the My Skills Future portal, which actually allows someone to take an assessment. All right, so it's a 3-part assessment. It takes about 45 minutes.
Wow.
Where so it's pretty long because the results are quite impactful. So it gives you an idea of your career interests. So career interests like, am I good with my hands?
Okay.
All right. Or am I someone who's very analytical, or do I like to do research? Or am I someone who's very enterprising? Right. And I can do well in a sales business role. So it helps you to identify your career interests. Right. And also, yes, my work values. All right. What's important to me? I want to be in an environment that is very creative.
Oh, yes.
Probably work in an organization like Plan B. Right. So these are values important to me.
That's very true.
Yeah. Or I'm very structured. I need structure and systems in my organization.
Oh my God. Yes.
So should someone do this before coming to see you, or with you together in a room, or
it's for someone who is aware through media efforts, they can do it before coming to see us.
Okay.
Many times they're actually not aware of this tool. So we sound it out to them. So this is part of the action plan that I will work out with them.
Okay.
Your next step is to do this profiling tool. So understand what are your values and also your skills confidence.
Yes.
All right. If I want to go into IT, or I want to go into healthcare or social service, do I have the right compassion? Do I have empathy to do well in this area? Right.
Well,
so
honestly, I feel like even if you're not exactly going, even if you don't plan on taking a course, it's a useful tool to have anyway.
It's a very useful tool because it kind of acts as a compass. Right. So it's called a Rysec tool. So it's just a Rysec is your car engine, but your values, your interests, your personality, your skills, you can say the GPS. Right. So my car engine knows I want to go in a certain direction, but my GPS kind of guides me. This is my career goal, and this is where I want to go. So a very powerful tool and very empowering tool.
You spoke of the aging population, so I'm just like thinking, some of us were aging fast, and then we're thinking like, when was the last time we actually took a course?
Last week.
Could be some time. And the question will be, is it too late to start? When is it too late to start? Like, 50s, 60s, if we finally the light bulb went off.
70s probably is.
Yeah, does it get harder with age?
The
reality of it, doctor.
Why not speak of myself?
Okay, why not? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The last course that I took, skills future course, was just in December.
Okay.
Right.
2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago. And I have lost count because I've used up all my credits basically. Right. Now this course I took was a 2-day course in professional sound design. Basically, it's a DJ course, how to be a DJ. So, I think
the students who came, how old were they?
Yeah. So the first thing before I signed up was the course that, this resonates a lot because clients come see me 60 plus. Yeah. I have $4,000 with me. What can I do with it? So that fear is there. Will I be the oldest in class?
Right.
All right. Is it too late for me to learn something new? And why do I want to do this? All right. So when I was asked to, so the whole class was probably, I think I was the youngest in class. No, I was. So I was asked to introduce myself. So 2 questions. Why are you here? And what you like to achieve? So say why I'm here is this 2-day DJ course. I want to do it because my son is a professional DJ.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. And sometime a year back, he actually told me that I want to relocate to Bali.
Oh, okay.
To be a professional. He was in media and marketing. So he kind of reskilled himself, and he's kind of like has mastery and now he's in Bali doing pretty well. So I said, I want to finish this course, and one day I want to spin a set with him in a club.
Nice.
Okay. Tell me what club, I'll be there.
So the why to me was, this course at the end of the day does not really help me improve my career, right? but the peer learning that I had, the supportive team that was in the class, and when I did my assessment, we had to actually do an assessment to mix 2 sets and perform live in front of the class. Right, so I have that recording, and I'm going to save it for a lifetime. So the impact of that course was that gave me the confidence that I can still learn. I can still learn something new. Yeah, and this is a precursor to me wanting to take up a diploma in social service. Yeah, because ultimately that's what I want to do with the aging population, because I'm a volunteer as a Silver Generation Ambassador. So probably I'm doing a bit of career planning. Yeah. Right? It's not too late to learn. Right?
Okay. Yeah. So you spoke about competency and also assessments, right?
Sure.
Now, if you're used to the mainstream education and you know everything is pass or fail, you need to really study and score and all that.
Sure.
But I understand the skills future framework is more on competency and not competent. So how does that impact your students taking up courses? Do they understand there is more about competency as opposed to just passing or scoring a certain amount?
That's where the clarity comes in. You know, a lot of clients who come and see us, actually they want to take a course, but they're worried that I take a course, what happens if I fail? All right?
Okay.
Yes. So we try and give them that reassurance that right now it's all about application of skills. All right. So generally, of course, we have a QA system that where training provider has to at least reassure a certain standard. All right. So that's why I think even the course that I attended, it was very clear what was the learning outcome. There was a theoretical exam which we had to pass and a practical exam. But at the end of the day, it was also about whether you're competent or you're not competent. If you are not yet competent, you are given an opportunity to identify where was my weak area. Could I probably just redo that part or be reassessed after practicing a little bit more? So give them that assurance, you know, that it's not all about you pass or fail and then you're just out of the system.
Yeah.
Well, Doctor, thank you so much for spending some time to speak with our audience. I think this has been very insightful and very fruitful, and and I hope it motivates some of you to start your lifelong learning journey.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll see you on the next podcast only on planb.sg. Bye-bye.